So I got this package in from Redmond today. I've been waiting on this one because I've had a number of my viewers that told me about something that I haven't even tried yet. I've been looking forward to trying the smoked salt that Redmond makes. Here we go, yeah. See, here's the hickory small batch smoked Redmond real salt cherry. And this one I'm looking forward to trying too is called Chef's Blend. I think I'll start with that one. With a warm aroma reminiscent of a summer campfire, our smoked Redmond real salt is a simple way to infuse your food with that one-of-a-kind smoky flavor you crave. It's a grilling game changer. We'll see how good it is on food that's not grilled. Maybe food that goes in the air fryer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to reheat a steak here in a few minutes and I'm going to try some of this on it. Got a new package of some kosher salt because I was about out of my 10-pound buckets, almost empty. And then of course they have these also available. Here's the hickory in a little shaker, the Chef's Blend, and the cherry. I can't wait to try the smoked salts. Let's give them a shot. Alright, so I just finished reheating this sirloin that I made the other day in the video I posted with the thumbnail that said sweet, sweet suet and a couple of sirloins or something like that. Anyway, this is the other half of that large sirloin, and I am going to add a little bit of suet so I can add some more fat to it. This stuff is just divine. Let's try the Chef's Blend. Tear this top off of here. Ooh, it's got a little plastic insert there to pop out for the opening. There we go. I assume that comes out. It's out now. All right, and it's, yeah, I know, and it's got, you know, it's got different sizes. I don't know if you can see that real good, but it's got the wide opening, which is what I usually use. It's got a little 3 big holes, and then it's got a set of 7 smaller holes, so you can reduce the amount of output. Now, I notice when you do the smaller one, you hardly get anything at all. The medium one works pretty good on this. I think I'll stick with that. And usually when I'm doing kosher salt or pre-seasoning the meat, I'll use the wider mouth so I get a good coverage on the steak. But since this is a reheated steak, I'm adding it after the fact. Let me grab a knife here. There's a woodpecker over there right at ground level, picking on a practically dead tree over there. All right, let's see. It's not overpowering, which I like. The steak itself is so good, it's hard to say that it's all because of the smoky salt, but it definitely has a zing to it that I haven't tasted. They could not make the nutrition facts label any smaller on this thing. No added sugars. Ingredients: smoked ancient real salt. So that's a good thing. There's no flavoring of any kind. It's just smoked salt. I wonder what the Chef's Blend uses, because it is really tasty. I'm anxious to try the other two, but since I've already put the Chef's Blend on this one, I guess I'll just have to go with that one for now. Just wanted to introduce you to the idea of smoked salt, because if you're like me and you're using the air fryer all the time, you might really miss the flavor of cooking with wood like cherry and hickory and whatever it is they use in the Chef's Blend. I'm going to try a heavy amount just so I can really see if I'm tasting beyond the meat itself. I am. Oh, that's good. Oh, I cannot wait to try some more. Try those other two flavors. I just don't see how it's possible that people tell me they can get tired of eating steak. Over 2 years of doing this, I never tire of this. This is just heaven. Every bite is heaven. And thanks to Redmond, it's even getting better. Today I am making a sirloin that Katie and I are going to share, and I am using the hickory smoked salt. And as you know, one of the things I do is I cook my steaks from frozen. That has become my favorite thing. And I don't think I'm the first one to do this, but I may be the first one to use a butane torch, which is not really good for much else with a steak other than just knocking the frost off of it so that the salt will adhere to the steak. We should call this the Dante method. No, I'm just joking. Smells good. Smells good. I'll let you see how much I put on here. I'm going to kind of do a close-up on here. I know the lighting is terrible. Oop. But I have had so many comments from viewers telling me how they have tried these smoked salts and that it's just, they love it because they can cook it in the air fryer and it winds up tasting like they cooked it on a grill. I can't wait to taste it. If it tastes as good as it smells, which is usually the case with smell, we're going to have a really awesome steak today. But if I were just to pour this salt right on the surface while it's still frozen like this, it's not going to stay on the steak when I go to put it in the air fryer. It's kind of the opposite of dry brining in a way, because with dry brining you're supposed to take a towel or something and dab it on the steak so that the surface isn't wet. But when you're starting with it frozen, it just makes sense to do this to me. And hopefully I didn't put too much. I do tend to sometimes go overboard with the salt. I just love the salt flavor. Alright, so I'm preheated. I set it on 500 degrees today because it's a big piece of meat and I want to make sure it gets nice and crispy on the outside. I found 23 minutes to be the sweet spot on heating this size of a sirloin in here. It'll fit, just barely. And then I'm going to flip it at the halfway point. And it doesn't have to be directly at the midway point to get the result. As a matter of fact, sometimes I like to let it cook longer on one side because that'll be the side that's on top and it'll be real crispy, and it doesn't have to be perfect to come out perfect. I'm also going to add, so I got some of the crispy part of the beef suet that I rendered the other day. This stuff is so good. I actually used this on some eggs earlier and it was just delicious. I should have tried the smoked salt on the eggs. That would have been an interesting try. But I tell you, between experimenting with the suet and trying this new smoked salt, March is going to be a great month. So as a quick reminder, as this is coming to an end, the key to cooking a steak that's 2.5 pounds like this, that's cut about 1.25 inches thick, and this large of a piece of meat, at 23 minutes from frozen, is usually around 475 degrees. Today I've tried 500 degrees to see how it does the outside a little crispier than normal. But preheating it to that temperature before starting and letting it run for the entire 23 minutes, but like this cycle has just gone into a cool down mode. I want to take the meat out immediately when that cycle begins, because it's going to continue to cook just sitting resting. It doesn't need to stay inside the air fryer for that period of time, and you'll find that while it sits and rests, it'll still hit that 140 degree mark, 135, 140 degrees. Right now it's a 125, 126, but it's going to keep going up, and in some parts it's a little hotter. It's 134 right here. It's going to come out perfect, I'm telling you. But people always ask me, how long do I put it in for? It's going to vary depending upon the amount of meat that's there, how thick it's cut. All of these things matter. When I'm doing like a 2-inch cut, it needs to cook a little longer, like closer to 30 minutes, even if it's a smaller piece of meat. That extra thickness makes a big difference. The thicker the steak, the better the exterior is going to be crispy, the better the interior is going to be nice and juicy. Go ahead and get what fat is left over there. Now some people tell me that this fat does upset your stomach, the liquefied fat, and for me that was the case initially, but I've noticed that as I've gotten used to eating it this way, that has been less and less of a problem. Since the very beginning, within a couple of days, I started to notice I didn't really have any reactions to it. But if I have too much, it can be a problem for digestion, or at least in your stomach initially. But now, for the most part, I just love it and have no issues with it. I'm sure we're all different, so some of you might not want to be adding the liquefied fat to your meat. Ooh, look at all that fat. All right, let's give it a try. Give you a close-up look at this. Perfect. Love it. Well, I definitely did not overdo it. And it has just a hint of that smoky flavor. Hickory is my favorite so far. That is really good. That is really good. Katie's in there looking at me. You bringing any down inside? I might. Might not. 2 years of eating meat non-stop, and it just keeps getting better. Thank you, Redmond salt. Smoked salts are amazing. When it comes to doing the smoked salts, I put a little bit less of my kosher salt on now than I usually do before I put a frozen steak in the air fryer, which this is ready for. And then I found by adding the smoked salt afterward, I get a much stronger flavor. The hickory is fantastic. So I wanted to make sure I covered that. Using the kosher salt ahead of time, not as much as I normally use, and then using the smoked salt afterward. And I didn't have to use as much as I was using by putting it on before cooking the steak, and I get just as much flavor from it, actually a little more flavor from it that way, and that worked out the best. That way you don't blow through all your smoked salt too fast, because you can buy the kosher salt in larger quantities and save a lot of money that way, and then make full advantage of these smaller smoked salts. But man, are these good. The hickory is so good I want to try it again, but I'm going to try the cherry today and see how that comes out. And then we'll have tried all 3 of the smoked salts. So far hickory's my favorite, and I like the chef's blend as well. It tasted good, but it was such a mild flavor enhancement, it almost didn't taste like a whole lot of difference. That smells a lot like the hickory to me, but I guess that's the way smoke smells, right? No, it's got a different smell, no doubt. I like this better. I like the smell better of the cherry. And I've had a lot of people say they prefer the hickory that have tried this already. But, man, the cherry smells really good. Well, we'll find out in a minute. But I'm going to cook this 2.6 pound sirloin. I put it in it frozen after preheating to 475 degrees. Should be able to flip it in another 10 minutes now, which would put it right at the midway point, and then I'll cook it for the rest of the way for that 23 minutes. Check the temperature. Sometimes an extra minute or 2 is needed on a larger piece of steak like this, but it is 1.25 inches thick, and I found 23 minutes is kind of the sweet spot on cooking a frozen steak. But if you have more meat, it does take a little bit longer. But I mean, I know I go over that very quickly because it's such a simple way to cook steaks. All right, the timer just ended on this steak. Let me check the temperature real quick. No, I need to let it go a little longer. It's 97 degrees in there. So I'm gonna set this back to air fry, set the temperature back up to 475, leave it in for 4 more minutes. All right, now that my timer's come to an end again, let's see where we are. 138 and rising, that's gonna be perfect. And get all this fat out of here the best we can. For those of you who can't digest liquid fat without any trouble, I don't recommend doing what I just did. But initially I didn't do well with it either, but after a while I got used to it and my body loves it now. I'm going to add a little tallow because there's really not a whole lot of fat in this meat. And let's try some of this cherry smoked salt. I've got it set to the 3 larger holes instead of the wide opening. I'll give it a good double pass sprinkle, maybe a little more. I'm gonna let that rest while I clean out the air fryer, and I'll be right back. All right, let's try out this steak with the Redmond cherry smoked salt. Man, this is just amazing. To be able to get this good of a steak from the air fryer, tasting like it came off of the grill, cooked with cherry wood. Man, I think I have to say cherry is going to win this race because this is delicious. This is so good it's scary. Levi,
Yes, sir.
you want to try this steak with the cherry smoked salt? It's smoke from cherry wood infused with the salt. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Man, oh man, this is good stuff. Have you had anything to eat yet today?
No, sir.
I'll give you some of this. I could wolf down all of this if I don't share it with him and Katie. This is so good. I've already been tremendously happy with my steaks. That's why I never tried the smoked salts. I was like, they're fine the way they are, but good God, this is good. How hungry are you?
That's good.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
I cannot say enough about how good this is. Oh my goodness. This is so amazing. Redmond smoked salts. You'll never want another steak without it. So buy it with caution. You're gonna fall in love. Oh my gosh, this is good. Just try this and tell me what you think. I know you're all working and sweaty.
It's good. It's so strange. Tastes like it was made on a grill. You know what I mean?
This is the cherry smoke flavor. Like cherry wood.
I think I like that one.
I do too. That's my favorite of the
I mean, I
three.
think the other one wasn't well.
No, I'm just saying that one's my favorite. I like the hickory a lot.
But it really tastes like it was cooked on the grill. Right on
Want some
top
more?
of it. Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
I can't stop.
You have steak. They're not following me.
Holy mackerel. Another bite?
Yeah, I'll take a bite. I have to run up to the store real quick. I forgot to get something yesterday. Levi has some more and he's eating it. Save me a little bit, please, if you don't mind. Just have it already chopped up.
All right. I'm glad you stopped me. I'm not even... I didn't need all this, but Lord, I could keep going. This is so good. Yeah, if I hadn't asked her, I would have kept going. I would have ate all of this. This is so delicious. But I'm trying to get my family healthy too. And she loves the meat already. Just trying to get her to go more of that and less of the other junk. Sometimes I gotta practically hand feed her to get her to switch. Because, you know, it's so easy just to pour a bowl of cereal or throw something in the microwave or pick up something from fast food store. It's really hard to change that way of thinking once you're stuck in it. But once you get around to doing it, it'll change everything. Alright, I'm gonna have one more bite. That's it. Oh. And just as a reminder, there's no other ingredients in this. It's simply Redmond salt infused with the smoke of cherry wood. I just didn't think it could get this good. This is fantastic. Hands down, best steak I've had. So there you have it, Redmond smoked salt. Give it a try. Be sure to use my coupon code Dante, D-A-N-T-E. You'll save 15% on your order, and a little bit goes to the channel to help keep propagating the message about how wonderful Lion Diet is, how wonderful Carnivore Diet is for us, and you can help more people get the message of this diet and how it's life-changing for them simply by using my code when you place your order at redmond.life. I'll see you guys next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?